let's talk about the situation with Hungary and NATO. What will be the next step of NATO? The relationship between Hungary and Sweden must improve before the Nordic state can join NATO, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban said at the Qatar Economic Forum on 23rd May. Sweden and its neighbor Finland asked to join the military alliance last year after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Sweden's application has been held up by Turkey and Hungary. Budapest earlier delayed ratifying Finland's application and has cited grievances with criticism from both Helsinki and Stockholm of Orban's domestic record on democracy and the rule of law in Hungary. Finland and Sweden have been two of the most vocal critics of Hungary among the European Union's 27 member states. The political relations between Hungary and Sweden are awfully wrong, Orban said. We don't want to import conflicts into NATO. He added at an interview with Bloomberg at the event. So Hungary's parliament has set no date yet to vote on the Swedish bid for admission, which has to be ratified by all 30 NATO members as the alliance holds a summit in July. But Orban did specify how the plans to mend ties with Sweden. Let's hear him.
Because the political relation between Sweden and Hungary is awfully wrong, and we have to improve first. We would not like to import conflicts into NATO first. So first, manage the disagreements between the two countries, and then we are ready to support them. On the principal basis, we are in favor of that anyway, and we like the Swedish guy, the Swedish people, but the political relation between the countries is rather nasty at this moment.
Everything that we undertook to deliver during the Madrid summit is fulfilled, and it is time for Turkey and Hungary to start the ratification of the Swedish membership to NATO. That is the clear message that I will send, and I have already received before this meeting, clear signs of the commitment and the support that we feel from several of the NATO member states. And I believe that this will be reinforced during today's meeting as well.
So why it's always with Hungary? Why it's always with Orban who stops the very important thing right now, the defense system of European Union and his country as well? And what could be the subject of, as he said, further negotiations with Sweden?
Mm-hmm. You know, Ms. Tsenia, Mr. Orban's closest methods are blackmail and intimidation. He really needs foundation from European Union, and he is doing now everything to get this huge money for his government. But Hungary now is the most corrupted country in the European Union, and intimidation also related with his methods, with his policy. And, this blackmail and intimidation he provided also to Ukraine and to all neighboring countries.
But still he is trying to be a peacemaker. So lately all of his speeches is about negotiations according to the war that Russia started in Ukraine, and he sees just the peaceful decision. Except for all these missiles and all the terroristic acts almost every day in Ukraine on the civilian society. He's just repeating all that Putin says. But for me, the question is, being in the NATO and being in European Union and still pronouncing Putin's speeches, what price can geopolitically pay Hungary in case of Ukraine's victory? It's a difficult question, I understand.
I am totally support Ukraine. I would like win for Ukraine, for us, for you, for me, and it's not interested me what will be happened in Hungary, what will be happened with Mr. Orban. Because his speech and his policy about as peacemaker, about ceasefire, etc., ridiculous and nonsense. I hope after victory we will have a good neighbor, Hungary neighbor, but this premier minister not will be Mr. Orban.
I talked a couple of days ago with John Herbst, it's American diplomat and previous ambassador, fifth ambassador, if I'm not mistaken, of the United States in Ukraine. And he's told me quite radical words towards Hungarian position according to Ukraine joining NATO, and as radical as ability to doubt Hungarian presence at NATO at the end of the day. Is such a procedure available? How do you think? Might it be next, it was Brexit, and this will be Hungarexit, and maybe exit of NATO? Yeah, I'm sorry, but
Yeah. Hungary is a small, weak country, and I think it's impossible, and it's nothing depends from Hungary in NATO, and this blackmails and intimidation will be totally passed out, I think, and Hungary will be the member of NATO, because not all depends on Mr. Orban, and Hungary will be exist after Mr. Orban also. I think, today he has a lot of speech against NATO, against Ukraine, against European Union, but he unfortunately has an inner box thinking. Yes, he is weak, but it's a totally inner box thinking, not more.
But the very nearest future will bring surprises to Hungary. For example, I will quote one of the Dutch members of European Parliament, Sophie de Veld. She says it's clear that the Orban government is totally unfit to chair the council for next 6 months. Europe cannot be led by homophobic, kleptocratic, Putinist lapdogs. Commenting on the expected decision of the European Parliament's Prime Minister George Gulias said that there is a draft decision before the European Parliament, but they do not have the power to make such an action. So what decision can be made according to the law? Will Hungary next 6 months will be in the chair of the Council in the European Parliament?
It depends. It's a very difficult question, because it's really hard to eliminate Hungary head in the European Union, but I think it's unprecedented that undemocratic non-European countries with non-European values can rule European Union. I hope European Committee, European Parliament can find out necessary steps how to eliminate Orban policy, how to eliminate his government from European heads. I think we will see it in next few months.